Caitlin!
Yo, what's up?
It's time
For what?
for SUGA. So we're actually going to watch the Agust D trilogy. And Agust D is his alter ego for when he produces things as a solo artist.
Cool.
So Agust D is SUGA backwards with DT as Daegu Town because Daegu is his hometown.
Nice. All right.
You ready for this?
I guess so.
How you with me?
How are you with you? Music video.
Music video. Oh, I can't wait to hear like your filmmaker commentary
Give it to
on
me.
this trilogy in particular. So good.
This is fantastic after watching Alchemy of Souls.
Yes.
Yo, what's up with that stare though?
He's very good at that stare.
This is Alchemy of Souls!
I don't think, is it the same one?
Yes!
Okay. I couldn't remember.
Is it?
Tell us if we're wrong.
Yeah.
He says yes. I agree.
Oh.
Whoa. What? I like
And I'm
this.
going to pause it because I forgot to put the lyrics up.
I also just love that we had this great, like, big dance moment where it's like he's like getting into it in the streets with his pals, and then of course like everyone over the age of millennial are just like staring at him, going like, "What? Can you just
Yep.
buy something and leave?"
Yep. The vocal that you heard at the very beginning is part of Daechwita, which is the style of music during the Joseon era that was played to announce that the king was arriving. The rhythm that you hear in the background is all based on traditional Korean instruments, played with traditional Korean instruments to like give you the sense of like the
king is arriving.
coming. The king.
Oh.
Also the streetwear kind of combining. Do you love the flip ups?
Yes.
Videos, the flip transitions. Great use of background performers. Yes, yes, yes.
Did
We
you see
love
who
her.
that was though?
No.
I'm giving you all of the tiny little things. See, it's even on the most replayed.
Is that RM?
It's Jin.
Oh, it's Jin. It's Worldwide Handsome. Of
This
course
is Worldwide
it is.
Handsome. And then who's the other person?
His
about
back's
to punch
to me,
him?
so I can't tell.
Jungkook.
Oh my god, really? That's funny.
Yeah. Another fun fact. He used his own private funds to fund this entire film.
SUGA did?
Yeah.
Jesus, that is not a cheap set.
Yeah.
It's not cheap because I think these public sets, especially in Korea, are technically parks, so you pay to get in. So it's like they'd have to shut it down for the day and make as much money as they would have if tourists came.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's not cheap. It's
No, it is
not
not.
cheap.
And all of that set deck, set decoration,
Not
and
fair.
costuming, all of that is incredibly expensive to do.
Yeah.
But they supply their private jet.
Actually, might not be able to.
It's used in a lot of stuff.
Sorry.
Yo.
What was it? What did you say?
It's like, is that King's Affection? I'm trying to figure out where I've seen this before. It's freaking me out. Help me. Oh, I like the heads. That's a nice detail.
That much of a tyrant.
Yeah. Whoa! I love how weird this is. I love, like, the blending of the old and the new with, like, I'm gonna pull up a car in this.
It's fun.
I am wondering why the scar is on the same side for both of the characters.
You might get an answer later.
Great. I love answers. So his crew that he's riding with, are they his friends in real life, or are they hired?
Hired actors.
Cool.
I mean, as far as I can tell.
Cool.
I just think that you're going to appreciate this line, which is why I'm going to go back.
Okay, great. Oh. Ooh, this is beautiful. So here's what. So they filmed this. This is actually a really great shot to pause on.
Yeah.
So they filmed this, and to keep it at a certain light, because normally this would be like late twilight, and this is really hard to set up and film that fast. So they probably colored the background to be like a darker blue, so that the flames around him, and they positioned them in such a way that it wouldn't like the orange yellow of the flames wouldn't ever hit the background. So you could have the color contrast between like the coolness of like the night blue versus like the warmth on his face. And then you could get all of these shadow effects around him. So a lot of it is like color. It is a really great use of color correction in a music video, especially to like get out of the color world that you were just in.
Line in there that I love is they say time is money, and my time is worth more than that.
Yay!
Yeah. I've been trying to keep that idea in mind with myself too.
Yeah, let's do the transition again. Gravity River just got no skill. His hair's down now. It wasn't down before. It was traditional before. Sup, Jin?
That's not Jin.
That's not Jin?
That's an actor. He just had the same facial hair on. Both hairstyles are traditional, actually. It's just different eras.
Oh, I love this. Just the simple head movement from the people who are bowing. Nice.
He learned how to do this traditional sword dancing for the music video.
Which means he had paper lessons. Ooh. What is happening? Wait, what? What was the explanation? Why does he have the scar on one side of his face?
I said you would get it later, later in our watch.
There's like a story happening. All right, I'm here. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the story.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
But also, like, they kept those crowd scenes to, like, one day. It's like, let's just do all one day. Everyone else, one or two people.
Haegeum is also a traditional Korean music. But this is a musical instrument in particular, which Caitlin and I actually got to see some performers play on Haegeum instruments earlier this
Okay.
year at the Korean Cultural Center.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
If you're in Los Angeles, the Korean Cultural Center in LA, shout out to them. They do a lot of really great events in the city. I'll put their link in the doobie-doo if you want to sign up for their newsletter and get involved. And if you're not local to Los Angeles and you have a local Korean cultural club, highly recommend getting involved because they're really nice. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
I want this jacket so bad. I'm going to make one for myself.
Chicken!
I have to make one.
He does like doing animal eye close-ups. Like, he's being watched. What?
Just stealing some chapsticks.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Rude.
nothing wrong.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 이 노래는 해금, yeah. 올라타봐 지금, yeah. 복잡되는 리듬, 어쩌면 이 또한 또 다른 해금, yeah. 이 노래는 해금, yeah. 올라타봐 지금, yeah. 복잡되는 리듬, 어쩌면 이 또한 또 다른 해금, yeah. 이 노래는 해금, yeah.
Do we need to send, like, hugs, or, like, plushies, or, like, medical assistant? I don't know, but that was a lot. There's a lot of violence in these music videos.
He's telling a story.
I get it. I get it. Ooh, is this him too?
Yes.
Okay, so he cast.
He's got the dual personality thing
all of
happening
them.
in
Okay.
this. Yeah. So one of the things I forgot to mention is that Haegeum is also, the word can mean unlocking. So that's what the line means of this song is a Haegeum.
an
This
unlocking.
is an unlocking. This is like setting free. This is opening
Which
the
is why the
box.
stabbing makes more sense now. Not that you should stab anybody to unlock yourself. Like, go to therapy, take a knitting class,
I mean,
start a hobby, start a YouTube channel. Do whatever you want. Get a cat.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, this song is a Haegeum. Oh, he's a policeman. I love the coat. That's the jacket I want. I want the long leather coat. Scar!
Yes.
All right. But it's like more healed than the one in the previous video. These shots are beautiful.
That pan, I love that shot.
It's like not even a pan. It's like a combination of like a few different things.
또 다른 해금 이 노래는 해금
It's going this way and then sweeping.
This shirt is also a favorite that I want.
That's cute. That was a nice cut. That was a nice transition. Always transition on some sort of movement. I'm trying to see if there's a difference. This feels like gimbal versus handheld. So it's like more handheld when he's more wild. And more stable when he's the police officer. And I'm trying to see if like, but then you have the like outlier shots, like that really beautiful like drop down. The genius of handheld is like the actor is able to control where the movement and the pacing of the frame goes, and the frame is always a little bit behind because of human error.
Yeah.
So it feels a little bit more chaotic, but also it feels like actor controlled, as opposed to like outside force control, which feels right for these two characters.
Any thoughts on the story and the lyrics?
I've not looked at lyrics. I'm sorry I failed you. He killed a guy. He stole some stuff. Policeman's after him.
Looking for freedom from the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a cool hideout. He's smoking. He's got a fish in a bucket.
Got fish.
At least he's responsible. That was cool. And that's on top of something.
과연 너를 금지시킨 건 무엇일까 어쩌면 누리지 않을까 자본의 노예 돈들의 노예 중고심과 편견 혐오의 노예 유튜브의 노예 플렉스의 노예
The rebels in these stories tend to be like F money and like my time is worth more than that, as opposed to being, the king, the policeman, the system, the things that represent the system. Ooh, that's cool. Differentiating freedom from self-indulgence. Who has the gun in the end of each scene?
Yeah. And you said, screw money.
Yeah.
For the heroes, the rebels of the drowning.
Good cut.
And who's corrupt? The
Yeah, body double. Nice aspect ratio change. Reference to the Joker.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
I knew you'd get that one.
Great reference. Great reference. And you also get the kind of like dark with the red to kind of symbolize that fire thing from the last one. Yeah, you get some food, bruh. You earned it. It's a great shirt. What a way to bring a prop back. Like, if you use something early, do the audience a favor and bring it back and have it be noticed. Even if it's like, you know who did that really well is like...
Chekhov?
It is Chekhov's gun, but it's Chekhov's chopsticks. But it's not even that. It's like the use of oranges in Godfather 1 versus Godfather 2. And it worked better in Godfather 1 used oranges as a symbol for blood or violence was about to happen. When the Godfather was killed. Spoiler alert, it's from the 1970s. He hits a barrel of oranges and they all spill out over the ground. And it starts to symbolize blood and violence in that movie, and then it continues in the trilogy. And in the second movie, characters pick up oranges more decisively when they know that there's going to be violence. And it depends on what kind of filmmaker you are, but I tend to like having both of those side by side. Of like, the first one is the discovery, and then the second movie is like people start to know that this will mean the thing. So it's like now you're with like whoever picks up the orange. It's like either they're gonna die or they're gonna be the ones doing the unaliving. So you start to kind of get clued in to the broader story or the broader narrative with the use of props. So I like the chopsticks.
I feel bad I've never seen the Godfather trilogy.
Don't watch the third one. It's fine. I mean, you can watch the third one. You can. You don't have to. Okay, last video.
Trigger content warning for
Yeah.
anyone proceeding that there is self-harm involved with this video. This one is more important to be paying attention to some of the lyrics.
Okay.
Because he's telling some very personal stories in this, like his own actual personal history, not like the fictional ones that we saw in the last two videos.
Okay. I'm ready.
And here we go.
Oh, that's a cool set. No scar?
요즘 기분은 어때? 1993 내가 태어난다 엄마 심장에 별의별 일이 많았지 뭐가 이리 다 살아났지 기억조차 안 나는 기억도 다 꺼내보자고 하나씩 최선들의 선택 최선들의 선택 원치 않잖아 내 통제밖에
There we go.
And a little bit of like the laugh of like the doing that repeatedly in some of the other videos with those characters. So the scene that keeps replaying in his mind and then he's like waking up from the nightmare actually happened to SUGA when they were it was either when they were trainees or like very early on. He had a delivery boy job on a scooter and he got into an accident and injured his shoulder. And he didn't tell anyone at the company because he was worried that it would prevent them from debuting properly.
Yeah.
And so he spent years in pain dancing through all of it with an injured shoulder that didn't fully recover. And he had to have surgery for it. And he used the time during the pandemic as the time for when to have the surgery done.
Oh my God.
He spent a majority of his career with an injured
pain.
shoulder.
And any athlete, anyone who knows what that is, it's like to live with chronic pain and not be able to tell anybody because you feel like it's going to ruin your chances. I know there's a lot of horror stories in the States of like you lose your scholarship if you're not able to play. In WWE, you lose your spot if you're injured too badly. But there's this like...
Yeah. And how many times did I get sick and I kept working because the job had to be done and I was worried I wasn't going to get that paycheck.
Yeah, and that's like you're replaceable and feeling like you're replaceable, which is hard to like look at these artists and it's like you're not replaceable to us, but like when you're in the process of like becoming something.
Yeah.
And you don't have this now. Like for us now, like looking back, or it's like, of course, get your shoulder taken care of.
Yeah.
But it's like he wasn't SUGA then. He wasn't known then. He wasn't the SUGA that we know. He was just... He was a kid on a scooter.
It's also why they're so relatable is because they share these stories with us. And the fact that he was so open and vulnerable with us to share this with us is like, that truly means so much.
Great top play. How do they do that? Probably dropped a dude.
My Amygdala, my Amygdala, 어서 나를 구해줘, 나를 구해줘. My Amygdala, my Amygdala, 어서 나를 꺼내줘, 나를 꺼내줘. My Amygdala, my Amygdala, my Amygdala, my Amygdala. 이곳을 슬프해줘, 어서 빨리 꺼내줘.
And amygdala being the fear center of your brain.
And related to the previous two videos where he's talking about pill popping.
Yeah.
And he has imagery here of him pill popping because he did need
pain
reliever to help with the shoulder injury.
Yeah, you can only hope to make the best decision. Interesting to not use flower imagery and interesting to use like bioimagery.
Yeah.
Great camera skills.
I also love that you see the floor of the stage as well.
What a beautiful image. Oh, cool.
I get
What a
chills
great
at this part
story.
every time.
Welcome back to everyone who skipped ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very emotional ride, and I think a lot of people can relate to that ride.
The thing that I love is the dual personalities this time are trying to save each other instead of kill each other.
Right.
And like in some ways you could have the king and the rebel personalities from Daechwita and Haegeum be like the warring thoughts going on.
Yeah.
And so really fun thing for the tour, the D-Day tour, when he performed that song, so the stage had movable platforms that could go up and down. And so he was on a very isolated one. There were a few more songs after Amygdala, but he did like collapse after finishing the song, and he gets carried off stage by his backup dancers. And then he comes back to do the last few songs, and when he does that last song, the door was on the stage. And the very, very last show in Seoul, the very last concert, he opened the door and left through the door.
Yay! Okay, so there was like closure.
Yeah.
That's great.
I love that there's this through line of the visuals and the storytelling.
Yeah. Use a prop.
Yeah. And thing that SUGA needs to get more credit for, I want to see him in like a gangster K-drama.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a good actor, and he doesn't think that he is, but he is. Like, the facial expressions and just like his body language is just, he like
it feels
gets into it. It's so good.
But I can imagine that he doesn't feel like he's a good actor because it's getting into other people's stories where it's like this was very personal because it was his story, and he kind of knew how he wanted to tell his own story, and I think it's more daunting when you have to get into another person's story or feel like you have to like, what would this character be like? That's not me. And this character was very much different facets of him. So maybe that's the reason why he doesn't believe that because it's hopping from one character to another, and like the words aren't your own when you're acting sometimes. I feel like in this story, it's not just like the warring thoughts, but it's also this like what people expect you to be and what you want to be, versus this last video is just who you are and who you're hiding. And it's like when it's that intimate, for going from like, you know, this kind of epic of like king and rebellion to like gangster film with like, you know, gangster and police with like where it's a little bit more complicated. It's like the different heroes' journeys of each of those stories in a wider storytelling sense are different, and they all mean different things. In terms of like, I'm thinking of movies like Hero, where it's like the tyrant king versus like the small town rebel who's like trying to save his farm or whatever, versus like a more complex like inner city drama versus, you know, something like The Whale, which is like very intimate and very small, and it's more about like internal pain. But to go from a macro to a micro story that way, he's literally kind of stepping you down into it.
Yeah.
So narratively, each video versus the trilogy versus like what this means to his overall journey, It's very smart and very, very well done and very well designed. Props to putting not just like referencing the trauma, the physical trauma, but reliving it. And he could have had a body double do it. I'm not sure if he did or not. I couldn't really tell, but the shots were constructed in a way that like he could have had a stunt double do it.
Yeah.
But he definitely did like the facial expressions like before he hit the car.
Yeah.
And but like props for being like, no, this image and this person that needs to be in there. Because it's hard to relive something like that, or at least hard to like design something like that. Like,
Absolutely.
How do you do your own car crash?
Yeah.
How do you want this to look, Suga? Also, the door that Delivery Suga tried to open was 202, and it's like, is there something in like the duality of it? I don't know. It could have just been a random door, but it tends not to be.
I think
random.
I think it works though, for the duality.
Yeah. Well, ending on a light note here.
We can watch a like 10-second clip of Suga doing a weird dance.
You've earned it. You've earned Suga doing a weird dance.
His classic.
Thank you for this journey. This is a very interesting filmmaking journey to go on, for sure. And this is probably the most interesting set of music videos I've seen in K-pop so far. And maybe it was just because of the budget and everything, but well done. Well done. And if anyone out there is looking to get into filmmaking, I would highly recommend watching these a few more times and like studying shot composition, color composition, narrative, directing actors, and just see what you come up with and see what you feel, costuming, prop usage. They all have different tactics and they all use them in different ways. And come up with your own thing. That's what he did. Do it. Anything that pops out to you with your personal journeys and your personal filmmaking, put them in the comments below. I'd love to read them and I'd love to see what I missed. Thank you for showing them to me.
You're welcome. I thought you would really like the show.
I do. This is the bomb.
Until next time.
How you with me?
How you with you?
Hell yeah. All right. Bye, y'all.
Annyeong.